You're listening to the Daily Sales Tips podcast, and I'm your host, Scott Ingram. Today's tip comes from Darren Mitchell. Darren is the host of the Exceptional Sales Leader podcast. He's committed to developing exceptional sales leaders and teams who drive consistent, sustainable, and replicable results. He mentors and coaches sales leaders one-on-one and facilitates engaging and interactive workshops to unleash the potential of sales leaders and their teams. Here he is.
In today's Daily Sales Tip, I'm going to talk about a topic that might sound controversial and it might sound challenging, and that is your customers don't want your product. Now, despite sales being a phenomenal career, there are many salespeople and sales leaders out there who are causing themselves and their companies a huge amount of grief. Why? Because they continue to make it all about themselves and their product. And you hear them. I have the best product. We have the best service. We've got the fastest, the biggest, the greatest. Who cares? Your customer certainly doesn't, because if they did, you wouldn't actually be required. Now, I've worked with hundreds, if not thousands, of salespeople over the last 20 years, and the vast majority suffer from the same condition, the all about me syndrome. This happens at an individual level, and it can certainly also happen at a company level. Just have to look at the executive summaries and the proposals that people put out. They're all geared around trying to convince a customer. I'm staggered at the number of organizations that simply drink their Kool-Aid and believe that it's okay to mention their own company's name by a factor of 10 to 1 compared to their customer's name in an executive summary. It's not making it about the customer, it's making it all about themselves. I've also got an example of a company who has a phenomenal product, and yet they did 81 demonstrations to pre-qualified and hotly qualified prospects, and not a single sale came out of it. And when we analysed why, it was because they were trying to flog their product. Now, sales leaders and salespeople who get it understand a few simple principles. The first one is people buy from those who they know, who they like, and who they trust. So how about we start spending more time investing in creating credibility and building trust with our prospective customers. The second principle is sales is all about problem solving. It is not about product pushing. And when we understand this, all of a sudden sales can become significantly easier and a lot more enjoyable. Just think about this. If you, as a prospective provider of a service, can articulate a problem that a prospective customer has, and you can articulate that problem better than the customer can articulate that problem, guess what they're going to think? They're going to think that you must have a solution to that particular problem. And therefore, they're going to be significantly more open to hearing what that solution actually is. So make sure it's about problem solving. It is not about product pushing. And the third key principle is that great salespeople show an interest in the customer and in the customer's business. They don't go in there trying to be interesting. Now, this is the key to not only great relationships, it's certainly key to great sales outcomes. Become more interested in your customer, and through that process, guess what? You will become more interesting to your customer. And the end result is a sale will be a natural consequence of an authentic conversation. And yes, we may still need to ask for the sale, but it is not going to come across as being pushy. So remember, your customers do not want your product. They simply want a solution to a problem that they haven't yet been able to solve. And you may just be the catalyst for helping them to solve that problem. So the key message, make it all about them. Solve a problem and just watch what happens to your sales number and, of course, to your levels of confidence. You will become unstoppable. So that is today's Daily Sales Tip.
For links to connect with Darren on LinkedIn and to his website, podcast, and more, just click over to DailySales.Tips/1035. Once you've done that, be sure to come back tomorrow for another great sales tip. Thanks for listening.